Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for covers of songs that are, in one way or another, more recognizable than the originals.
Tainted love.
Number 20, The Sound of Silence. Original, Simon and Garfunkel. Cover, Disturbed.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
Before December of 2015, alt-metal band Disturbed and 60s icons Paul Simon and Art Garfunkel are the last musical outfits you'd have expected to join forces. That was until Disturbed released their symphonic cover of Simon and Garfunkel's timeless folk rock song. While the original Sound of Silence is, of course, an unforgettable classic beloved around the world, the Disturbed version was an unexpected viral hit.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
The cover has garnered over 1 billion views on YouTube, and a 2016 performance of it on Conan nearly 160 million. Even original songwriter Simon is a fan. Reaching out to Disturbed singer David Draiman after the Conan performance, Simon said simply, quote, "Really powerful performance on Conan the other day. Nice. Thanks."
Disturb the sound of silence.
Number 19, Torn. Original, Edna Swap. Cover, Natalie Imbruglia. So ubiquitous is Imbruglia cover of this little-known alt-rock tune that you probably didn't even know it was a cover to begin with. Written by Edna Swap band members Scott Cutler and Anne Previn, alongside music producer Phil Thornalley, Torn was originally released as Brent, a Danish-language translation released by Lee Sørensen. A few years later, Edna Swap released their own version, which the Australian-born Imbruglia covered for her debut album Left of the Middle. The rest is history. Imbruglia's Torn became a global smash sensation, hitting #1 on the charts in several countries and earning her a nomination for the Grammy Award for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. Number 18, I Think We're Alone Now. Original, Tommy James and the Shondells. Cover, Tiffany. 60s pop singer James and his backing band of Shondells are responsible for a number of hits, like Hanky Panky, Crimson and Clover, and crucially for our list, I Think We're Alone Now. Exactly 20 years later, it became teen idol Tiffany's signature song, at the suggestion of her manager/music producer George Tobin. Aged just 15 at the time of the cover's release, Tiffany Darwish was unfamiliar with James and the Shondells' original, and initially rejected the notion of singing what she perceived as an oldie. Tobin reworked the song to fit Tiffany's 80s sensibilities, and it paid off, with her rendition of I Think We're Alone Now spending 2 weeks atop the Billboard Hot 100. Number 17, Red Red Wine. Original, Neil Diamond. Cover, UB40.
Red, red wine. Stay close to me.
Turns out that there's more to veteran hitmaker Diamond than Sweet Caroline. The original Red Red Wine was a minor success for Diamond upon its 1967 release, reaching number 62 on the Billboard Hot 100 before disappearing in a wine-induced haze. Some years later, in 1983, English reggae band UB40 included it on their cover album Labor of Love.
Red, red wine. Goes to my head.
This was without even realizing it was initially by Neil Diamond. The band cited their familiarity with a version recorded by Jamaican singer Tony Tribe. Although it came and went at the time, a 1988 reissue turned it into a sleeper hit. Even Diamond himself has embraced the UB40 cover, performing their version live in place of the song's original arrangement.
Red, red wine. Go to my head.
Number 16, A Hazy Shade of Winter. Original, Simon and Garfunkel. Cover, The Bangles.
Leaves are brown and the sky is a hazy shade of winter.
guess there's just something about this iconic folk duo that lends their catalog to reinterpretation. Case in point, their uncharacteristically lively and up-tempo deep cut A Hazy Shade of Winter, which was reimagined by power pop group The Bangles. Their version, produced by hip-hop legend Rick Rubin, takes several liberties with the original, turning it into a distorted headbanger.
Look around, leaves are brown, and the sky is a hazy shade of winter.
Recorded for the Less Than Zero soundtrack, The Bangles' Hazy Shade of Winter exists out of sheer happenstance. Said lead singer Susanna Hoffs, quote, "I thought I was a Simon & Garfunkel aficionado, but I somehow had missed that badass folk rock song of theirs. I ran to our band rehearsal that night and was like, we have to cover this song."
Grass is high, feels so right. It's the springtime of my life.
Number 15, Black Magic Woman. Original, Fleetwood Mac. Cover, Santana.
Black magic woman, black magic woman.
Wait, what? Yep, that's right. One of Carlos Santana's signature songs isn't only a cover, but a cover of one of the most famous and beloved rock bands of all time. That said, it might not be the Fleetwood Mac you know and love. No, Black Magic Woman belongs to Peter Green, the band's founder, as well as its original lead singer and guitarist.
Black magic woman, she's got me so blind.
Just 2 years later, Santana released a significantly reworked version of Black Magic Woman, which also integrates elements of Gabor Szabo's Gypsy Queen. Released as the first single from Santana's second album Abraxas, Black Magic Woman reached the top 5 of the Billboard Hot 100 and stayed on the chart for 13 total weeks.
Got a black magic woman. Got a black magic woman.
Number 14, With a Little Help from My Friends. Original, The Beatles. Cover, Joe Cocker.
Oh, I get by with a little help from my friends.
If you thought Black Magic Woman was a significant departure from its source material, just wait until you hear Cocker's searing rendition of the Beatles' Ode to Camaraderie. Originally recorded for Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, With a Little Help was given a complete facelift for Cocker's 1968 debut album, which takes its title from this song.
What would you do if I sang out of tune? Would you stand up and walk out on me?
Going from a breezy jaunt to a sweat-drenched, soul-bearing blues number, Cocker reportedly took his inspiration from American musicians Aretha Franklin and Ray Charles. Even Paul McCartney, who co-wrote the original alongside John Lennon, was blown away. Said Sir Paul, Cocker, quote, "totally turned the song into a soul anthem, and I was forever grateful for him for doing that."
I wanna get power from my friends. I just keep trying with my
Number 13, Fast Car. Original, Tracy Chapman. Cover, Luke Combs.
You get a fast car. I want a ticket to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere.
Let us be totally clear in saying that Chapman's original Fast Car recording remains one of the best, most affecting pop songs ever written. With that in mind, country star Combs' version makes no attempt to outdo or reinvent Fast Car, but also manages to rise above being simple karaoke.
You got a fast car, and I want to take it to anywhere. Maybe we make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere.
An instant hit, Combs' cover even managed to surpass Chapman's position on the Billboard Hot 100, with his version reaching number 2. Chapman later endorsed Combs' Fast Car, even making a rare televised appearance to perform it alongside him at the 66th Grammy Awards.
I had a feeling I could be someone, be someone, be someone.
Number 12, Knockin' on Heaven's Door. Original, Bob Dylan. Cover, Guns N' Roses.
Feel I'm knocking on heaven's door.
Maybe Bob Dylan and Guns N' Roses were the original Simon & Garfunkel and Disturbed. Written and composed by Dylan for the soundtrack of Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, the song appropriately tells the story of a Wild West outlaw who fears his days are numbered. Once ranked by Rolling Stone magazine as one of the greatest songs ever written, Heaven's Door was given the epic treatment by Guns N' Roses. This version commissioned for the Days of Thunder soundtrack. Later appearing on the band's Use Your Illusion 2 album, this version adds hard rock theatrics while preserving Dylan's trademark sensibilities.
Feels like I'm knocking on heaven's door.
Number 11, Killing Me Softly with His Song. Original, Lori Lieberman. Covers, Roberta Flack and the Fugees.
Strumming my pain. his fingers, singing my life with his words.
Poor Laurie Lieberman just couldn't seem to catch a break. Lieberman wrote Killing Me Softly in the early 70s, assisted by music industry vets Norman Gimbel and Charles Fox. However, Gimbel and Fox didn't allow her a songwriting credit, denying her millions in royalties. Insult was added to injury when Flack's cover became a massive hit, winning 2 Grammys.
Killing me softly with this song, killing me softly with this song.
Of course, as we all know, this is not the end of the story. Over 2 decades later, Lauryn Hill and the Fugees won the Grammy Award for Best R&B Performance by a duo or group with vocals for their rearrangement.
Killing me softly with this song, killing me softly with this song.
Lieberman has since given up the fight for a songwriting credit, instead seeking to educate the public on the song's origins. Number 10. I Love Rock and Roll. Original The Arrows. Cover Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
I saw her dancing there by the record machine.
You'd be forgiven for not remembering Britain's The Arrows, a glam rock group from the 1970s that first recorded and released I Love Rock and Roll. Their version, as cool as it is, just isn't widely remembered today, nor is it considered to be the definitive edition of the song.
Singing, I love rock and roll, so put another dime in the jukebox, baby.
Instead, that honor goes to Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, who heard the Arrows original and decided to cover it a few years after its release.
Saw him dancing there by the record machine.
This comparatively more hard-rocking cover eventually grew to become something of a career calling card for Jett, particularly after departing her former group The Runaways. It was Joan's one-of-a-kind attitude and swagger that allowed I Love Rock and Roll to hit harder than ever before. Number 9. Girls Just Wanna Have Fun. Original Robert Hazard. Cover Cyndi Lauper.
Come home with the morning light. My mother said, my boy, you better start living right.
This song was less than 5 years old when Cyndi Lauper recorded it for her debut studio album She's So Unusual. As a result, its new wave stylings remain relatively intact within both versions. However, Lauper's decision to play around with Robert Hazard's lyrics allowed Girls Just Wanna Have Fun to progress in a powerful and meaningful manner.
The phone rings in the middle of the night. My body yells, what you gonna do with your life?
She sings from a switched perspective of empowerment, whereas Hazard's original is a comparatively vapid and face value approximation of dating and intimacy.
These girls just wanna have fun. Yeah, girls just wanna have fun.
Lauper's cover went on to become something of a feminist anthem, while Hazard's demo has largely been relegated to trivia questions and lists like this one.
Hey, just you wanna have fun.
Number 8. Tainted Love. Original Gloria Jones. Cover Soft Cell.
Sometimes I feel I've got to run away.
Jones's original Tainted Love went largely unnoticed until nearly 10 years after its release, when it garnered renewed attention as part of the UK's Northern Soul scene. After that, it fell back into obscurity before English synth-pop duo Soft Cell covered it, often incorporating it into their live shows before taking to the studio to record it properly.
Sometimes I feel I've got to run away.
Their Tainted Love cover took off in the UK, eventually reaching across the pond and becoming an even bigger smash in the US, where it spent 43 weeks on Billboard's Hot 100 chart. Although Soft Cell never again reached the same heights as they did with Tainted Love, at least we got this enduring dance floor anthem out of them.
This tainted love you've given, I give you all a boy could give you.
Number 7. The Man Who Sold the World. Original David Bowie. Cover Nirvana.
Rest upon the soul. We spoke of what and when.
Generations of music fans were already well aware of The Man Who Sold the World prior to Nirvana covering it for MTV Unplugged in 1993. These were older generations, however. Folks from the 70s and 80s who were familiar with the David Bowie original, as well as hit covers from Lulu and Midge Ure.
Your vice to vice with the man who sold the world.
Nirvana's take, as a result, was delivered with perfect timing to keep the song relevant for the grunge-obsessed audiences of the 1990s.
We passed upon the stair, spoken walls and well.
In fact, some say that it's Nirvana's version that helped retain interest in Bowie's glam rock gem, allowing the man who sold the world to live on for future generations. If that isn't musical kismet, we don't know what is.
Your face to face with the lovers of the world.
Number 6. Respect. Original Otis Redding. Cover Aretha Franklin.
What you want, honey, you got it. And what you need, baby, you got it.
There's no denying that both Otis Redding and Aretha Franklin are legendary soul singers. That said, Aretha's stolen cover is something special, like lightning in a bottle that has proven to be a timeless masterpiece.
What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, you know I got it.
Her take is smoother and more refined, although the differences don't necessarily take away from the value of either version in a major way.
But all I'm asking for is respect when I come home.
Instead, Franklin's point of view allows her take on respect to speak from a point of feminism and civil rights in gripping fashion. Thus, the song became a career-making anthem for soul music's first lady, and deservedly so. Number 5. Nothing Compares to You. Original, The Family. Cover, Sinead O'Connor.
Nothing compares to you.
Prince was famous for his work ethic, a tireless songwriter who seemed like he was always working. Nothing Compares to You was penned by him and given to a group he formed called The Family.
Nothing compares to you.
This musical group venture resulted in a single album that contained the OG Nothing Compares to You. Fast forward 5 years to Sinead O'Connor's second studio album, and it's her version that has captured the imaginations of listeners for years now.
I went to the doctor and guess what he told me? Guess what he told me?
The power of the song's striking music video likely helped things along in this regard, but O'Connor's version possesses an intimate and smolderingly intense power all its own.
Nothing compares. Nothing compares to you.
Number 4. All Along the Watchtower. Original Bob Dylan. Cover The Jimi Hendrix Experience.
All along the watchtower, princes kept the view.
Masterclass songwriters of Bob Dylan's caliber have always seen their music covered by a variety of artists. Adele's take on Make You Feel My Love is a great example of this.
To make you feel my love.
So is the Jimi Hendrix Experience's hard-rocking version of All Along the Watchtower. It'd go on to become one of the defining psychedelic rock songs of the 60s, a precursor to heavy metal that hinged upon Hendrix's charismatic vocals and guitar playing.
Businessman there, drink my wine. Plowman, dig my earth.
Meanwhile, the rhythm section hammers home an urgent groove that's impossible to resist. Thus, the group updated All Along the Watchtower for a very swingin' decade.
All along the watchtower, princess kept the view.
Number 3. Hallelujah. Original Leonard Cohen. Covers John Cale and Jeff Buckley.
From your lips she drew the hallelujah.
There have been quite a few artists that tried to take a swing at Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah. It was John Cale's 1991 version that arguably piqued mainstream interest in Cohen's 1984 original after it was included in Shrek.
It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah.
That said, few Hallelujah covers have as much palpable melancholy and sadness as Jeff Buckley's 1994 recording.
From your lips she drew the hallelujah.
The singer-songwriter unfortunately died when he was only 30, which lends a fatalistic aura to his Hallelujah that's echoed in his impossibly resonant and impassioned vocals. Cohen's original features a metered, insistent cadence, while Buckley's balladry is smoother and more stretched out, allowing each word to drip down like honey or molasses.
It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah.
Number 2. Hurt. Original 9 Inch Nails. Cover Johnny Cash. Trent Reznor's original version of Hurt for his band 9 Inch Nails possesses a unique and impenetrable darkness all its own.
I will make you hurt.
That said, it's Johnny Cash's cover from 2002 that has allowed the song to enter a transformative state, one that proves how truly great music can transcend genres.
And you could have it all. My empire of dirt.
Cash was in the twilight of his life when he recorded and released Hurt, and this feeling of mortality envelops the end result like a funerary shroud. It's virtually impossible to retain our composure as images of Cash as a young man flash across the screen in the accompanying video, too. Thus, Cash gave Reznor's evocative ballad a new and vulnerable life all its own.
I will let you down. I will make you hurt.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. I Will Always Love You. Original, Dolly Parton. Cover, Whitney Houston. It's a musical Sophie's Choice of sorts. Which version of I Will Always Love You do you prefer? Both are sung by generational talents, the originator and songwriter Dolly Parton, and the artist covering it, Whitney Houston. Country purists or die-hard Dolly fans may swing her way. However, the public at large is probably more familiar with Houston's cover, taken from the soundtrack to 1992's The Bodyguard. Houston more than put her stamp on the song, creating a mesmerizing listening experience that's indescribable. Thus, she allowed I Will Always Love You to cross over into the pop world and charts from its heartfelt country roots. Which of these musical homages is your favorite? Be sure to let us know in the comments.
To make you feel my love.